hello everyone. Welcome to Sprua Life Coaching. And in this series of coping with COVID-19, we have another interesting and very sensitive topic today, which is, of course, finance. And we have our guest, Vishesh Chaturvedi, who is a financial advisor and founder of Life and Investment Solutions. He has been in the insurance sector for the last more than 2 decades now, and he has worked with companies like ICICI Prudential Life Insurance, Tata AIG, and Reliance Life Insurance. So, Vishesh, very, very warm welcome to our channel today.
Thank you for having me over here.
Welcome,
So
Vishesh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's start our interview. So everybody is aware that COVID-19 is giving a lot of insecurity and depression to everybody around the globe. And there are uncertainty in every field, be it, jobs. Many have lost their jobs. Those who have are still very uncertain about, they can lose their job at any time. So a lot of financial insecurity and uncertainty. Now, Vishesh, you being in this field for such a long time, how do you look at the current situation?
Okay. These lockdown has taught us important lesson that our needs are not that costly. It's our want which is taking major or large portion of our income pie. This message is for all of us to concentrate on a need first, then address our wants. If we go back to history, in 275 BC, Chanakya has proposed first budget to King Chandragupta Maurya, and in that budget also it was clear that first we should be addressing or first we should be start funding for our contingencies, our uncertainties of life. Second, we should start investing towards infrastructure, those things which will be coming in future or whom we have to address, like my child's higher education funding, my child's marriage funding, my retirement funding. These are certain things which are going to come. So I should start funding for them secondly. And thirdly, should be towards our today's essential, which are my wants mostly, my costly mobile phone, my costly laptop, my bike or my vehicle. So these are for today's essential, and lastly should be for festives. That is when I'm planning to go on a tour or holiday. That should be on fourth. So if we follow this pattern, which was defined or created by Chanakya, the first economist of this world, so we won't be facing financial health future also.
Yeah, that's very interesting because a lot of us, including me, we fail to understand what our needs are. That's where I think the confusion starts. Yeah.
Yeah. So COVID has taught us whatever you can purchase today is your need. When shopping malls will open, that will cater your wants.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, right, yeah, we manage whatever stock we had at home, everybody is able to manage. So, yeah, right. A good learning for us. So, in this unusual scenarios, normally because when life was okay, everything was okay, it was probably easy to plan your finances. Yeah. So, how should people now do their financial planning?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we are trying to during this COVID time, the crisis, we have managed the crisis well, and we should also be teaching our kids income minus saving is equal to expenses. What we usually do or the pattern what we follow is income minus expenses. Whatever is remaining should be for savings. So it should be reversed. We should first save, and whatever is remaining, then we should start catering to our expenses.
Okay.
We usually create two type of assets. One is personal assets, and second is returnable assets. But personal assets are those assets which are for personal consumptions, like my house, mobile, car, laptops, any other thing. And returnable assets are those which are going to give me interest, or which tomorrow, or which will give me gain tomorrow. which will address my financial goals or which will help me achieving my financial goals. But unfortunately, 80% of our income goes towards our creation of personal assets. Only 20% invested towards our assets which are gonna help us achieving our financial goals or returnable assets. So this ratio needs to be changed. For returnable asset, we should start catering more or pumping in more funds.
Because now that we have come on minimal, minimal purchase and minimal everything at a minimum level, when it comes to your financial portfolio, even today, what do you think, or maybe all the time, what is it? What is the must you should have in your portfolio?
That's a good question. We need to have two must assets in our portfolio. One is leverage asset and one is income generating asset. So what is leverage asset? Leverage assets are those assets for which you pay small amount, but it will give you high returns. So for example, term plans are leverage assets in my portfolio. I pay small premium, but in case any unfortunate event happened in my life or I happen to expire, so huge sum assured comes to my family. They'll be able to float across with the same standard of living. Now, second, we should have income generating assets in our portfolio. First of all, I am income generating asset if the earning member of the family who generates income. But during this COVID, I have lost my job. A lot of people have lost their job. So the only income generating asset who was earning member of the family has lost his job. So there is no flow of income. Then we have to go to, we are going towards financial income generating assets. So I can purchase a house, which will give me rental income. I can purchase a store or shop or office, which will give me rental income. I can purchase good company shares, so they will give me dividend income. I can have a huge investment in mutual funds, and I can get into systematic withdrawal option. So regular income will flow to me. They are also income generating asset like fixed deposits. They will be giving me fixed amount throughout the tenure of the deposits. Post office deposits, pension plan. Throughout of my life, I will get same pension. Later on, my wife will get same pension. And after wealth goes to the next generation. Now, especially during this COVID time, first four asset class has cut a sorry figure, have failed. So house rent, if my age is 75 and my tenant has lost his job, he has gone back to his native. My rent has stopped and I can't invite a new tenant because stamp duty registrations are not happening, it seems. And secondly, my society itself is not allowing visitors. So how will come to see my house? Same is happening with stores, shops. So malls are closed. So shop is closed. How, when he is not earning from past 5 months, how I am expecting him to give me rent? Same with office rent. Companies have allowed people to work from home till December or till next financial year. So they won't be using the infrastructure. So they will demand to reduce my rent. But my age is 75 or 80. So if my income is, the source of income is these asset class, so how I will be surviving? Financially, I'll be getting weak during these times. But having said that, fixed deposit, post office deposit, when it was locked down also, fixed deposit rate of interest was coming to you. Post office interest was coming to you. So you were financially well off. Your pensions were coming to you in first of every month. So you were financially stable because this regular flow of income was coming. So you need to realize that your portfolio should be mix of both. And in these times when we have already entered the regimes where rate of interest are going to fall, so it's the right time to freeze this asset class, fixed deposits or pension plan. For the lifetime, we can freeze this rate of interest. So with fixed deposit, these are short-term investment vehicle. We'll be able to cater or we will be able to freeze this rate of interest for 10 years maximum. But for pensions, you can freeze this asset rate of interest for lifetime. Later on, the same interest will be coming to your spouse, and then principal goes back to your nominee.
Okay.
So basically, flavor and a mix of different kind of securities or investments you should have in your portfolio. And
Precisely.
you mentioned, so a lot of factors you may be considering as an advisor. So what is the age group, uh, and what is the income? And somebody who's in 20s or 30s and somebody who's in 50s can have the same goal, but maybe depending on their income and other factors, so how do you normally overall, like roughly, how do you plan for them? Or what all parameters do you consider when you
Yeah.
do their financial planning?
Uh, See, if we are talking about a very young person, 20, 25, so for him, his age is helping him. He got next 30 years uh, to work, next 30 years to invest to achieve his financial goals. So if he starts with small amount also, uh, the power of compounding will play an important role in his in achieving his financial, helping him achieving his financial goals. But 50 years old, if he wants to plan for his retirement, so he has just 10 years. And between 50 to 60, if you realize, a major expenditure of your life comes into picture. Your child's higher education, you have to fund that. Your child's marriage, before you get retired, you would like to settle them, they should be married. So major wealth is getting part towards these expenses. Then you're left with something, and then after 20, more 20 years, you have to survive. So it's always advisable, as early you can start investing, you should be doing. If you see retired government officers, from their first day of job, they start contributing towards their pension. So that's why they are happy retired people. But with private sector and business class and professionals, we don't have that option. So we should start voluntary contributing towards our financial goal, which are gonna meet us tomorrow, like retirement solution or child's higher education funding.
Yeah. So I think the message is start early
Yep, and reach safely.
and be safe. Yeah. And now with for private sector, like I think NPS started a few years back.
Mhm,
So people started investing in national pension schemes
mhm.
and maybe in the insurance plans. So, but yeah, there was always insecurity in the private sector because there's no pension as the government employees get, as you mentioned. So yeah,
Mhm.
there's a need more for the private sectors to invest some part of their income in such schemes.
Now, just for sake of information, government sector also stopped pension after 2005, I believe. If you have joined government sector, you will be getting pension.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay. We were not actually. I was not aware about this. Okay, so although no need for everybody now to start investing in these schemes.
And secondly, NPS is good option, but pensions are taxable.
Uh,
So there are plans available which can give you tax-free income. So getting into NPS or a traditional pension plan, so you are planning to pay tax post-retirement.
okay, yeah,
Financially advisory says plan not to pay taxes post-retirement. So
okay,
those are plans available in with LIC when you can get a tax-free income throughout of your life in form of pension.
yeah, right, yeah. So, we said a lot of factors we consider age and income, etc. But it is all about the percentage of your income that you invest rather than the
Government
amount.
says 20% of your income should be invested
Okay,
uh, towards your pension, 5% towards your Mediclaim, 5% towards your child's higher education.
okay.
Okay.
And when a client comes to you, so as an advisor, you plan taking into consideration all these factors, and things start. So, but then everything has to be revised and maybe updated. So, what is the frequency? Do you also revise and reconsider and shuffle? I mean, for a client for this entire portfolio, how does it work?
Yeah, this is a very crucial uh, point or crucial exercise in designing anyone's financial portfolio. We usually visit every year, once in a year. Uh, we provide them with gap analysis, so gaps between their present financial situation and future financial goals. And there are always three options available with clients. Either they can freeze the gap fully, fill the gap partially, or ignore the gap. Whatever they do, they are aware that there is a gap. in their portfolio. So at the end of any long-term investment maturity, they won't find it's a useless investment what I've done, because the amount which I've gathered, or the amount of maturity what I'm receiving won't be sufficing the requirement. So unless you keep on revisiting your portfolio time and again, you won't be able to achieve your financial goals, because any of the investment instruments, you can't just sleep on investment after doing it for months. You have to keep on revisiting the portfolio.
Yeah. And I think, so when we talked about the balance in the portfolio, because there is a lot of temptation among people to invest more in the markets, thinking you get higher returns in the less time compared to, investing in these plans, term plans or insurance plans. So that is also needs to be balanced now, because stock markets have gone haywire. Now I think they are picking up. But then that has also showed that you need to have a balance. If you're dependent too much on the equity and share market, then, those have suffered. So having a balance in your portfolio always helps. And for that, I think financial advisor like you are going to be helpful, because we on our own cannot really make that judgment. So for you, you have a bigger picture, and that's how you can help people to have a good plan, and of course revisit and revise annually.
Precisely.
So Vishal, I think this is a very, very important topic, very crucial. So probably we can't cover in one call. So I would like to continue this discussion in the next week as well. So,
Sure.
so we would like to have you next week again on our channel, and we'll continue the discussion. And so for now, this is pretty interesting and very, very useful. I'm finding it. So for now, we will stop here, and we'll see you again in the next week on the same topic. Thanks for coming here on our channel today.
Thank you for having me over
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you.